Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Today we're going to be this is going to be very much a therapy session, working through our anger, frustration. That was the Spurs thrashing, and as I said, it was a thrashing. It could have easily been 6 or 7, in all honesty. And I alluded to it yesterday. Actually, the issue of not having European football is we can stew on this for a week now until we play Man United in the old on Sunday at London Stadium. So where obviously with European football you'd had that sort of week in that Wednesday or Thursday really to sort of get over it and then back to Sunday. But it is the lunchtime live, so I'll get your thoughts. The idea is let's just get it all out there. Let's air our problems, air our frustrations, and hopefully we'll feel better by the end of it. Hammer's headlines are going to be talking about Mohamed Kudus's ban. Could it be extended? And the loan watch as well, talking about first team players on loan, and then in the academy show later on tonight, we'll be then going through the loans for the academies. Good week for the academy. At least one team beat Spurs. One West Ham team beat Spurs this weekend. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's have a look. Top of the pile, Matt Foster. The game against Man United could be the final nail in the coffin. Also, the language barrier isn't helping, as Loppy's words seem to be lost. Now, this is quite interesting, actually, because there was as part of his post-match interview, he spoke about, and I don't necessarily think it's the language barrier, but how his stuff's getting communicated. He said that he had to. Where's the actual quote? I've got it here because I thought it was quite interesting. Maybe I have to improve my translation with my players for sure. Now, it's unclear whether that means language barrier or whether he just means he isn't explaining himself properly or the message isn't getting through to the players, which I think is more of the case. The message isn't getting through. He speaks decent English, and actually, when you look around the side, there's not many, you got to think Max Kilman's a native English speaker, Wan-Bissaka, you're thinking Bowen, and that's it. The rest of them, some of Summerville maybe as well. The rest of them aren't native English speakers, so it's not necessarily. And he speaks Spanish, and he does speak a couple of other languages, or briefly. So I don't necessarily think that's the issue. I think wherever he's trying to communicate, something is lost in translation, but not necessarily with the words, but in terms of how the players are responding to it. He in the same way as Moyes. I remember Moyes. We never said that he'd never go out and say, right, give the ball away and da-da-da-da. No, he wouldn't. But what he was saying is okay. Sorry, my dad. And it just seems there's some sort of breakdown, and that's when you need your captain to rally round. So that's when you need Bowen this week to rally round and start knocking some heads together. So that's what he needs, I think, in my humble opinion. When Van Dijk went down in installments, he certainly did. The play came in the first half. Spurs made a change, and it turned, and we should have gone for it second half. We should have been more prepared. Spurs, Postecoglou won that game for them because of his decisive substitutions. Now, Postecoglou Andrew's also lost games. I mean, look at the Brighton game just before the international break. 2 late goals, lost the game. So he doesn't get everything right, but he got it right that time. He got, by taking off, it was a big call, taking off Maddison. He was having a great game. And then bringing on Sarr, it completely changed everything around. In more ways than one. Not only did the midfield battle, they sort of took over, but obviously, Kudus pushed him, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of getting the yellow card, reviewed to a red card. I'd say, they'd already seen the yellow card incident, but it was that second incident, I think, with Sarr, which was the one which got him sent off. So, double whammy for them. What we got here, Vincent Price could do a bit. Vincent, very good. Vincent Hammer's House of Horrors, indeed. Sorry. Sorry. John Matomsky just randomly messaging me. Anyway, ignore. Super stupid. No need to do what he had to do. Also, why didn't drag him up? That's again that. I agree with you, and again, I don't want to call Bowen out for that, but when the camera was tight on the ref, I'm going to put this down a little bit on the ref and Kudus. Romero was there, and he was obviously the captain on the pitch at the time because West Ham's already come off. But I didn't see Bowen there. And as a captain, you should be there anyway. Now, he could have been there, but the camera was tight. So I'm not going to call him out for that. But there's certain things which you'd expect. And if he wasn't there, then that's not good. I'm more saving more than every game. I can't take a defeat, but to show nothing second half scandalous. And it was really, to be honest, Matt, it was that 10-minute period, wasn't it? That 10-minute period, either side of that was an okay game, not a great game. I've got a spot there. Coming out in hives thinking about West Ham. But that just 10 minutes of madness. Absolute just... It was just... And again, you saw the decisiveness and sub half-time done. West Ham, the goal went in, right, we're going to do some subs. And then we just dilly-dallied. And I was saying it on the... review show. So, that's when you need your captain to take a knee. Or bit of dark arts, hold your head injury or whatever, just to stop the game to get the players on. But we carried on, and players, our players maybe distracted as well because they're looking at the subs that are coming on. There's 3 guys on the touchline. It's not like just one. There's 3, so it's a major change. You're thinking, am I going off? And then they lost their heads. Looking at the body language, some of the players haven't been. I just think there's frustration. There's definitely frustration. And sometimes it's frustrating when you're trying to do something and it's not working. And maybe what they're trying to do isn't working, but we don't know what they're trying to do. That's, to me, is the issue. As I said, Andy Townsend, I was listening to his commentary for the game, and he said he's watched West Ham a lot this season, probably about 4 games or 4 or 5 games, and he hasn't seen a prolonged pattern of play which you can say, right, that's what Julien Lopetegui is, his style of football. I still haven't seen it either. In fact, look at, the goal, our goal, because we scored first, was a really good goal. Really good team goal. Some nice movement. And more of that, please. But we didn't. And that was a frustrating thing. Afternoon. Oh, my F days. What's going on at West Ham, indeed. Kudus will be lucky to escape further action. I need more therapy, Russ. I honestly hoped for a new start. He's bloody awful, says Ralph. Yeah. Again, I think, part of me as well, and again, I'm not making excuses, but under a different group of fixtures at the beginning of the season, if we'd started with, I don't know, Palace away, Leicester home, Fulham, and we started away and we had a really good set of fixtures and we got some points on the board early doors, that would have bred a new sense of confidence. Now because we haven't got those points on the board, we do look nervous. And there was a period, I remember definitely under David Moyes' tenure, where we looked scared to even breathe, some of our players. And I think also the issue, you've got to think of the issue as well, potentially. Because of Julien's use of the squad, if you don't perform, you're off, even if it's half time, even if you Kudus, even if you're Bowen, if Paqueta, which is a good thing, but also for the players internally, they're like, shit, they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to, they're sort of in between a rock and a hard place. But the players have to take some responsibility for Saturday. It doesn't rest all on Julien Lopetegui. They're all professional football players, and to have a period where you've conceded 3 goals in 10 minutes, whatever it was, is unforgivable. Unforgivable. You could actually tell the last goal, or the Tolibo assist for Ariella, that you could probably chalk that one off. That was unfortunate, but the others, no. And yeah, positionally they're out of position, but they're professional football players. They should be able to sense danger. They're not robots. They're not, players have to think for themselves as well. And so, yeah, maybe obviously, and again, I was going through the stuff with Anton at the end. The three I want us to play with to see if it works is because he's not going to play Soler and Paqueta as a two with Alvarez on its own. He's not going to. Just not. We want to see it, but it's not going to happen. We've only played it once from the start, was Rodriguez, Alvarez, Paqueta. As a three, we haven't played that three. We only played it once, and that was at Man City at home, of which the fans were happy because we lost 3-0. So, 3-1 rather. So, that's what I want to see us play on Sunday rather. And then Summerville on the left, because it will be, because obviously Kudus is bad for the next 3 games. Bowen on the right, whoever is it, Antonio up front. Leave it like that. Give that 3 games. Stop fucking changing it. Give it a couple of games so they can at least gel playing together. And then come after the international break. Kudus is back. We reassess. Hopefully. He might be longer. So actually, we want to get a settled side down for the next few games. Maybe he might go to a back 3 now, towards the end of the game. We played 3 at the back. Maybe he saw that as an opportunity to try it for 20 minutes in the Premier League and see how that works. I don't care, but I just want something and a reaction on Sunday, and I want us to do something and put in a performance. I don't care what he does. I just want it to be better. Simple as. We must be patient. We do, but obviously there is patience here, and I'm always willing to give the head coach time if I see something, if I see the embers. But I'm not seeing any embers at the moment. I saw a little ember, which was that goal, and that was really nice football. But that was all I saw. So for the same for United game, we know nothing's going to happen. As I said, it's been rumoured that he's got until the new year because of the time bringing in new players and things like that. Okay, fair enough. But let's show that that's deserved in terms of giving you for it's reassessed, and hopefully let's get to the new year and no needing to be reassessed because we've got lots of better style of football and all this under our belt. That's what I want. It was totally shit. Lopetegui was outcoached again. He has not got a clue on our best midfield and tactics. I agree. I don't think he's got a clue on his on his midfield. And that is the area, ironically, despite the fact we've conceded 4 goals, defensively, I think we're getting, that defense is getting better. The bloody goalkeeper, needs to sort out his fucking distribution, hasn't he? It was awful. Awful. It was the worst display of distribution I've seen since Luna McCloskey towards the end of the time. And he wasn't towards the end, bless him, he wasn't distributing that ball particularly well. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. If Lopetegui were to be sacked, Sullivan won't be getting a young, hungry attacking mind. It's going to be someone. You're totally right. Will. Getting rid of, I think, in a weird way, getting rid of him now is not going to help us in our move forward. In all honesty, in a weird way, because as you said, who are we going to get? You'd get Moyes, or you get Southgate, maybe Potter, but you're not going to buy anyone out of contract because he never does buy anyone out of contract. Afternoon for those Spurs fans. Tactics barrier indeed. Ain't a captain, he won't do that. We don't know, Matt. Again, we jump to things and we don't know. I'm not calling him out on that because I didn't see the camera shot. If I was there and I could see it, then I'd have more of a, and I wasn't obviously there, so I couldn't say that. A good coach would go back to base and start again, defend midfield to hold, to make space for passes. And I think that's what we have to do. We're back to square one. We're back to basics, back to black. We need to start with the back 4. Let's get that back 4 staying as a back 4, not leaving us exposed. If we're going to a back 3, let's do that and stay with that. You know what I mean? There's so much chopping and changing. As I said, one of the major criticisms of Moyes was he never used his substitutions. Maybe Lopetegui didn't use his subs too much, potentially. I don't know. Is that a thing? But it does seem a little bit like he's sort of throwing things. There was by using all the subs all the time, The yin says he's utilising the squad. The yang says he's getting desperate and trying to throw enough mud at the wall and see what sticks. And at the moment, there's more evidence to select the latter than the first one, just because of results and performance. And look, we've got enough time to turn this around, but we've got to see something on Sunday. We've got to see something, because then we go into two potentially easier games: Leicester away, Everton at home, both without Mohamed Kudus, and then we go on the international break again. And then we come back and we've got Newcastle away on Monday, when we'd have seen everyone play around us before then. So, the pressure would be on to get some results. And that's what worries me slightly. But I agree, and if Rodriguez is playing CDM, or if Alvarez, or if they're playing double pivot, play as a CDM. The whole idea of being a central defensive midfielder is to protect the back four. And I don't think they're getting much protection. I think Wan-Bissaka doesn't seem to know. I think he's positioning, I don't know what he's been told to position in terms of his position, but for most of that game, he was almost playing as an auxiliary CDM. And they almost played two at the back at times. I just didn't understand it. If he wants to play AWB and so far forward, we need to play back three. Good shout, but that means we need to drop and play more mobile midfielders. Unfortunately, we don't have many mobile midfielders, so you'd play. So for me, you would drop. So if you're playing three at the back, you then play Alvarez and Rodriguez in the two. So for the four, and then you'd play Paqueta just ahead as well. The person we do need is Freddie Potts. Maybe not this year, unfortunately, but maybe next year. He's having a fantastic season with Pompey at the moment, and he's a CDM. He's a West Ham boy. He can pass. Scored a good goal on Saturday against QPR, and they came back 2-1. I think he would do really well alongside an Alvarez, in my opinion. Paqueta deserves his place in the team more than Paqueta. Hot take. What we got to see? He won't drop. He was a ghost again. What's going on in training? How TF can, for example, Area be so useless? Everyone seems. That's what I mean. I just didn't get it. There was one pass in the first half. I think it was. Might have been. Yeah, it was first half. And it was almost like a pitching wedge pass to Emerson, which went about 3 foot above his head and went out for a goal kick. Went out for a throw, rather. I was like, how the fuck that happened? Van der Ven should have gone. He instigated it. Well, not really, Mike. I mean, to be honest, it did look like Kudus. Let's be honest. It did look like Kudus kicked him up the arse a bit, or kicked him on the back. He got up, had a word. Kudus was the one who pushed him. He didn't push him. He reacted. And then the melee started. And then Richarlison gets headbutted for just walking behind Kudus. And then Kudus pushes Sarr in the face. I don't think Van der Veer was the one. I think that's just I don't think so. I think, to be honest, Kudus acted wrong, and he shouldn't be doing that. I can see why he's frustrated. You've seen your team's losing quite heavily, and you feel frustrated maybe about position you'd be getting, and maybe you are getting loads of niggles from the players behind you and stuff, and you just react to them, and that's it. But you should never do that. Day to forget. We are seriously lacking leaders and strong characters. We've had a few collapses this season, which have been shambolic. Indeed, my friend from Zalarica. I totally agree. Now, with the issue I have is I don't, and we know this is an issue in terms of leadership. Lopetegui mentioned it in his press conference, saying, we're trying to get the players to show that leadership on the pitch more often. So he knows there's a problem. I think we really missed the likes of Craig Dawson and Declan Rice. I'll be honest. And we probably didn't miss Declan as much last year, but there's been such a massive turnaround. There's no consistency going for. There's no sort of where even last year you had Kudus, you had Alvarez coming in, but you still had Souček, you still had Zuma and again, and there was still a thread of consistency. Maybe not a good one, but I wouldn't say necessarily that characters were an issue. Now we've got a situation where we've got very much a new squad, nine new, 9 new players in and around the first team squad. There's no thread. There's no, constant to then build upon. We had that for Martin Oval for 15 years, that constant. Then Deck came in, he was that constant. Then Craig Dawson had that sort of leadership. Now, we do have people, but unfortunately, the people we have aren't the ones who are particularly performing well at the moment. Thomas Souček is a Czech Republic captain. Mohamed Kudus is Ghanaian captain. Mats Kilman, I think, he was obviously captain at Wolves. I never got the justification of Bowen being captain, apart from the fact he signed a 7-year deal and he's, pretty much like an adopted Cockney, really, because of who his father-in-law is. I never saw that sort of captaincy on the pitch. It's like when Harry Kane was captain of England. Never really saw that. Never really got that. Now, the interesting thing about Kilman is, I've always been a big fan of centre-halves. Trouble is now you're in a situation where you can't take taking the captaincy of Bowen will do him more harm than good. It will do more harm than good because he will then be down and he's made a decision. You stick with it. It's the wrong decision, but we have to work around how we can improve it. So it is about getting the likes of Max, getting the likes of Wan-Bissaka, who's obviously really experienced. Let's get him more involved. Emerson more involved. Do you know what I mean? It's use the captaincy of a Thomas Souček. Antonio's been around the club for, almost 10 years. Cresswell off the pitch, he needs to step up and be that sort of Mark Noble sort of not comparing them to, but comparing the two of them, but very much Nose was almost like a team, like the club captain, and Declan was the team captain. That's what you need. And I don't know where these guys are that way inclined. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But it's the characters I do worry about. We just seem to be very just wafer thin from that perspective. Richardson got the worst of it running. He did indeed. Question: why 2-1 down did he take? Exactly. But as soon as 2-1 happened, he then started to he was going to make the subs, but because of I don't know what. But even if he made the subs at 2-1, when they're going at 3-1, you're sure you can still make the subs because the game's fit. I just didn't get it. It looked like panic stations, and there was no decisive nature to it, and that's what we wanted. I would bury my face for what Wally getting a red indeed. Moyes may not have lost the game 4-1. Hindsight, you never know. Palace wasn't even. Ipswich, I think, to be honest, wasn't a great game. The 4-1 flattered us, I think, to be honest. Palace have played well, but not great. And we've had fits and starts. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, a good little passage there for a couple of minutes. But that's it. There's not like a situation where you've got, lots and lots of stuff just happening. And that's what worries me. First half was good, then they had tea and crumpets and came out asleep. Indeed. That was always Moyes, though, wasn't it? Moyes would always have that sort of beginning of the second half nature as well. And it seems that's carried on. I think a lot of these problems are inherited towards the end of that Moyes period. And I don't think we realised how effed up the playing staff and the squad were after he left. And maybe it was a bigger job than we thought it was going to be. Yes, there's been players who have moved in and moved out, but still you've got a core there who there are definitely some hangovers from the Moyes era. Still, in terms of style of play, in terms of, towards the end was very wasn't great. I think we sort of continue to put. Yeah, indeed, haven't bought. Agreed. Gazwad said you're well. Paul, what concerned me at half time was that 15 minutes talk from Lopo. He wanted to make changes. It tells the players on the pitch are not trusting him. That's what I think. It's like, but he made that. He was going to make those changes at 2-1, which is fair enough. Okay, it's not working. It needs a step change. And I like that. I like there was a sense of decisiveness, which is something we never got from Diver and Dave. However, it's almost like you're going to go and do it, and then you don't do it, and then by the time you do it, it's too late. If you're going to do it, go, be decisive. But he took his time to do it, that it changed the complexion of the game. And again, I think you're right. I think that halftime team talk, then people on the sideline. If I'm Paquette, I'm looking at the sideline of Soler. Chances are I'm going to be off for him, and your head dip a bit. I think that could easily have happened. Second half should have sat back for defenders and worked from there. We don't start well in either halves. I want to know what Loppy said at half time. Where our goals coming from has been informed 2-2, but he hadn't scored until after that. And actually, Antonio hadn't scored until the last couple of games. So Summerville, Bowie needs to step up now. He's the captain. Paqueta needs to step up. And Antonio needs to step up as well. So they all do. They all do, my friend. Kudus sort of team play, had a great run and should have played Wan-Bissaka in. I think there's a frustration with Kudus as well. Passing in the first half, particularly as well when he was playing more in the 10 role and was passing out wide to Wan-Bissaka. But I think sometimes he likes to take the responsibility himself. And I don't mind that if it comes off, and sometimes it does with Kudus. I think he's trying to do it all himself. And that could be a frustration because he's on the left-hand side, maybe. I don't know. There's loads of ifs, buts, and maybes, which I said is going to be our new motto. And we've got a striker, got rinsed by some for the fourth goal, but it was done then, mate, wasn't it? Afternoon, early doors. Hope you're well. I need to send all those bits out. I might do this. I'll do it this week. 3 subs after 60 minutes, indeed. Paqueta and Suchek need dropping. The trouble is now they won't be dropped, will they? One of them might be dropped. I think Suchek might be dropped, but Paqueta won't be because Kudus isn't there, so someone needs to play it. Unless he's going to drop. I mean, he could drop both and play Soler and Alvarez. David's going to though. Too much space conceding centre behind wings, and got Spurs to exploit it. Indeed, Paqueta was diabolical. It feels as though the players are unable to express themselves as they're unsure of what is expected. I would agree with that. 11 corners against in first half is pure pressure. It's not a good half. 45 minutes, snatch and grab. Crap first half, second explosion, says Daniel. Big up Tony, indeed. I can't remember us ever looking so... Oh, mate, plenty of times. 6-0 against the Arsenal at home. That was pretty awful. Pack has gone from being a go-to player to being a... I think the fact is Pack's always been that sort of wasteful player because he's creative. But when you've got a team around him and they're playing well, you don't notice it as much. Now we're not playing well. It's almost like we're picking out these characteristics which we don't like. I understand we have to have time, but we have to be realistic. We cannot allow too much time. Otherwise, we may not be able to undo the damage. If a manager comes in and plays the same midfield with the same problem, exactly. I mean, there's no point in my eyes. Although maybe a motivate. I mean, we've got good players. We've got good play. You look on paper, we've got a very good squad. But as Brian Clough always says, you don't win football matches on paper. And maybe we just need something to move things around. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort something out for the food banks at the same time. I don't know. I'm just as frustrated as you lot. Areola with Butterfingers and well, to be fair, Areola kept. He kept the score down a little bit. Did some good saves, but just the distribution, and why think about punting it up? That's what I understand. You can tell sometimes they have stuff drilled into them, and maybe it's been drilled into since Moyes. There was a couple of times where he hoofed it up, particularly in the second half where Antonio had gone off. It's Bowen versus Van der Vey. he's got about 2 foot on Bowen. So why are we kicking it up in the air? I didn't get it. Ladies lost. They did. They had a very good time. The under 18s winning West Ham under 18s against Tottenham. We'll talk about that this afternoon. Defending over the years not good enough. It's not all the defenders. We are too easy to score against. Teams don't have to work too hard to score against us. Fair play. What they're doing, Trey? No idea. Your midfield needs to be more dynamic midfield. In the Premier League, it does. Play Wes in goal, seeing improvement. I don't think we would, though. You know what I mean? Defenders can't defend without midfield organisation. That's what I mean. They can't. And you're right. You know, and it's like it starts from up top. It starts from the press. We're not pressing. That puts pressure on the midfield. That's put pressure on defenders. There's the midfielder pushing forward to try and press too much and not organising, make sure they've got numbers at the back. Then we're exposed at the back, and that's pretty much what happened against Spurs. Carved open too often, far too often. I would like Thomas Frank if to show you some balls. Thought VAR weren't allowed to get involved with yellow cards. They are allowed to get involved in, and that wasn't a yellow card. That was it was the second instant. That's what they got involved in, and actually because of that, he could then rescind the yellow card and get the red card. Sure, it's up to Tim to choose the next manager or coach. That's the goalkeeper. They are fucking awful. If Loppy goes, Sully will be looking for someone to steady the ship, not someone who wants to play the football the fans crave. He might get back to Moyes, but that's the trouble. He subs aren't react. He just throws them on and hopes everything sticks. You ain't being Everton's as agent Ancelotti. Imagine he sacks Lopp and brings in Paul Ince of a cocaine habit. Okay, fair enough. It's not one game, it's all season long. We'll never or Lampard. It was now in 10 minutes and the commentator say bring it on. I know. We're crap at corners, crap at set play, we have no midfield and no identity, we have no ideas and no leaders. We are effed, says Ralph. I think the fortunate is we've got there's at least 3 teams worse than us, to be honest. So I think we'll be all right this season. But on the skin of our teeth, needs to go back to basics just to steady the ship. I totally agree with that. Our corners fell away short of hitting it, especially awful. India will run through a midfield, quite possibly agent Ancelotti. Not the way he slags off all the time. I like his brother Anton. No, Anton was really funny on Friday. Anton was really good on Friday. We had some really good. Oh, Mrs. Bunn's calling. Bear with. Mrs. Budden just checking in on me, bless her. Jimmy Walker night on Friday, he was brilliant. Anton was really good, really honest and really funny. And they all actually all really good. And Jimmy was great. The only book launch I've ever been where they've actually launched a book yet. Jimmy hasn't got the book ready. Getting quite out of position. I think Wan-Bissaka was getting quite out of position because of the position he was being told to play. That's my issue. Both were poor. I totally agree. Looked like he didn't want to give a crap. I don't agree, Matt. I think he looked frustrated. Lockie ignored, so he knew he did wrong. Yep, he did. He did do wrong. Mostly for the paycheck, weak mentally, no interest when crap hits the fan. Seeing 2 spuds on the floor, that was quite funny. To be honest. Where else we got? I'd like to go naked fishing Vanton and stealth. Fair play. Early doors. Why can't we get someone else on corners? Bowen's not been good, but we had Emerson was doing the corners, wasn't he? It was very good. Anton was really funny on Friday. I love Bowen, but unfortunately he's not captain ready. I agree. We needed Downs, maybe, possibly. It's a good shout. Alvarez for captain. Chubby's not on the pitch long enough for my liking. Bring Noble out of retirement. Has a better pass. Well, yeah, he has, but he's a different type of player, GP, as well. We have 3 world-class midfielders in Alvarez, Paqueta, and Kudus. Yes, Mark, hope you're mate. Good to see Mark. Was me and Mark and Alex were the three amigos at the night on Friday, and I managed to get Mark a lovely photo with all Anton that lot as well. So I'm glad we could help with that. For all the hate we gave Moyes, we could do with him now. That's the trouble. It's like, but if you did get one in, it'd be a firefighter. So it would be something like Moyes. And I just don't think that would happen. And I don't think, and then we'd be in the same situation probably in 18 months' time again. How long till Nobes is caretaker? I'd rather go back down than have Moyes. Bowen's a nice lad and deals in the media well, but he's not captain. Yeah, I didn't agree. I mean, the club brought out, was it Souček? And for all of our hate towards Declan Rice at times, he would always do the match, do the interviews, and I don't know who puts them up, but Bowen wasn't put out for the interview. But as captain, that's what you want, and even with Deck, he would say, look, we play crap, didn't play well, we're hurting, and that's what we want to hear as fans. And unfortunately, no disrespect to Thomas, but because of his broken English, it doesn't come across that. We don't want those sort of one-word answers. We want someone who's going to articulate an answer for us all. That's no slight on Thomas at all. But it should be someone like Bowen. If not Bowen, then you get Kilman out there. You know what I mean? Someone who we can listen to and have a conversation with, which we can then at least know that they're hurting or stuff. We don't feel like that, and that's one of the things I was saying the other day. That we've lost the connection, I think, between the players and the fans. And talking to a lot of people on Friday, they were very disillusioned with the first team and stuff, and which is why I was saying to them, well, if you are that, get involved in the academy, because you feel like they're boys and they're fighting, they want to play, and they're fighting for a career, and they haven't made it yet. So so you've got that sort of hunger, and that's the issue for me. Yeah, but you'll know, Ralph. I think that would do more harm than good. I'll be totally honest if we did that. Bowen can't do two things: being a captain and play. It's affecting his game. Kilman could be captain. Scott Parker at half time. Would like to see that. Scott Parker was never West Ham captain. That's the thing. You can be a captain without being a captain. It was Parker wasn't captain, if I remember correctly, with that Churchwellian speech he gave against West Brom, where he came down from, was it 3-0 to draw 3-3? Which Carlton Cole, if you ask about it, still brings tears to his eyes. You don't need to be a captain, but you need to be a leader, and that's what we need. Moyes made off 5-1. At third goal, we need the old pro to sit them. Exactly. Take the sting out of the game, and that's just proper game management. That's not been, everyone does it, but we don't. We can't be doing things because it upsets someone. But if it meant that Bowen's game went to disrepair, it says Matt Skimmer doesn't have to be the captain to show leadership. Thomas Souček doesn't have to be the captain to show leadership. Wan-Bissaka doesn't have to be the captain to show leadership. You can be you can be a leader, but you don't have to be the captain. Everyone is playing the midfield, but that's not entirely. The defence is getting done on the high line, but they're getting done because the midfielder, Nicky on West Ham Fan TV, he summed up brilliantly when he said we were like a donut. We had nothing in the middle, and that's what it was. That's what it was. Squad value is decreasing by the game. Some of the blame is on the players. It's not all fits on Lopetegui. He's the spearhead to it all, and it's always the manager or the head coach who gets sacked, not the players, when the team don't do well. And the new manager will come in and play with the same players because we can't buy anyone in until January. But the players need to take some responsibility, that's for sure. First half was good, and Ange figured this out. Indeed, didn't Spurs have they certainly did. That's Miguel. Who has? I don't think, Kudus has been poor for some games. He's all getting back into the swing of it. I think the only one who's played half decent all season is Max. And you see how many goals we've conceded, which is ridiculous. But I think he's played all right, Max has, most games. That's why margins like this all the time. They certainly did. But usually across the 40, he's lost quite heavily in a few games, doesn't he, already, Lopetegui? It's been poor season. Does anyone else think the players that have been affected in their own game, and it's going to take. I agree. I've said it, Taz. I've said it. It's almost like when they cross the line to play, they return to factory settings, and those were presets by David Moyes. That's what it seems like. I honestly think it's more or less for our sake. Don't think it's important. I agree. Said we are sad. No shit shirt. Choose a squad and change players to make a difference. Picking the lines up backwards. Some of it will start. Not a case of must start. He will start. Caduce reminds me of a young Joel Cohen, always trying to do himself and never releasing the ball too early. We are playing a lot of aimless long balls. Usually that's not. Usually it used to be the long ball was the easy one for Antonio to run onto. Or to chase, but he's not even doing that because he's getting knackered. It's the whole team. We are a joke and don't know what we're doing with the ball and without the ball as well. Team just walks straight through us. Hopefully, we'll get his chance and keep out for a bit or make J-Lo pay. That's what I mean. If Summerville comes in for the next 3 games and has a storm in 3 games, you cannot bring Caduce in and change and take Summerville out of the squad. Well, you can, and he could do, but then he's got an opportunity there to cement his place and ideally, potentially changing our fortunes. Because if he's playing the left-hand side, he can show and prove that he's on the left-hand side. That's his position. Caduce comes back, whenever it may be. And we have to find a position for him. Whether it is playing Bowen up top, I don't like it, Bowen up top and Caduce on the right. It's something different. If he's playing Caduce in the 10 role, which I prefer, and Bowen on the right, that's something different. And then what do you do with Paqueta? Do you play him as an 8 or do you alongside Alvarez? Or do you drop him or do you play as a false 9 and everyone moves around? I don't know. But the idea is something's going to have to change for the Man United game, for the Leicester game and the Everton game. After that, we'll see if we go back to revert back to factory settings. But at least it's going to be something different. And hopefully that will breed something, a change in mentality and a change in setup. That's what I want. And unfortunately, it forces the coach's hand with red cards, injuries, suspensions, and sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise. It doesn't seem like that at the moment, but over the next 3 games, let's see. It could be. Arietta was terrible, bang average, gave no real progression from Moyes. It's a serious problem with my training regime. We need some stability. That's what we do, and I just want to play the same team for 3 games and see what happens. Sorry to say about Antonio. Was at fault for a second goal. He didn't. Bless. Yeah, he literally. I was there. You could see there's a camera like behind him. So Antonio literally standing still, and Basuma literally just walked past him, and he didn't track the runner. His head was in the clouds. Right, let's go for a few sort of go in a minute. Last season, combined was a bit of a liability. He lost the ball there. I know I was muted. I know. I'd rather watch the under-21s. They know how to play. Well, watch them. They'll be there. Go and watch them, mate. Next home game is the 1st of November. And if you can't go to that one, then Billericay, Braintree. The following week, they're playing in the National League Cup or something like that. Take care, man. All the best. Have a good rest of the day. What horror show. We're easy to open than a packet of crisps. Nice. Kilman should be our captain. That midfield needs Irving. Great shout. Why not? As I said, he's got the height of Souček, but he's got more in his plate in terms of possession. Won't change the captain now. Yes, what I mean. He won't do it. Some of them are in the chat. Be careful what you wish for, indeed. In other good news, they did. We'll talk about that in Hammer's headlines and in the Academy show. Even in our form contingent, I believe we need to keep. Well, he does sound like he's going to keep there. I wish we'd kept Earthy. Well, hindsight's a great thing, and if Caduce hadn't got injured or hadn't got suspended, Earthy still wouldn't get a game time. So I'd rather, and he got some minutes at the weekend as well. So I think for the long term, I think that's the right thing to do. We have a great squad. We have no striker. We do have a good squad, I think. We do have a good squad. Colourblind goalkeeper. Most teams have a spine of captains. Yep, I agree. Caduce is intends the way forward. We need more mods. No, I like everyone coming in having their thing. One day I will finally make love to a Russ or Anton lookalike, or maybe a menage a trois. Summerville on the left, Bowen on the right might be more balanced. Than I totally agree. What we do better this season? Would we do better this season? Just to prove, no. That squad was getting old. That squad was getting past its prime. We needed major surgery, so we did need to pull that band-aid off. And the mistakes that were made 3 years ago, 2 years ago, in terms of the players we bought in, needs to be rectified. So we had to do it. We had to rip that band-aid, and it was going to be painful. And I think a lot of us didn't think it was going to be that painful. And then Saturday was really painful. So yeah, it's not great. Why anyone was astonished by no one picking up? He seemed free to. Honestly, he was just running through. I'm willing to give 2 games. Not convinced of anything he's done. Look, as long as I'm seeing things. Yeah, Saturday was a step back. We were starting to see some green shoots. Now, if we don't see anything on Saturday, then Sunday rather, against Man United, then that's going to ramp everything up even more. So for me, I mean, look, there's nothing to go. I mean, we don't make the decisions. He still gets my support, but I want to see more. We all want to see more. No one wants to see us in this position. Was a nightmare, as I said to you, Russ. It needs to be dropped. We had all 11 in our last third on the Basuma goal. Can't wait till the new year if no improvement. Man United have never been the same since Moyes destroyed them, says Ralph. Anyway, on that bombshell, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Hope we've had some, maybe not closure, but a bit of a therapy session. As I said, we've got Hammer's headlines, and then we've got the Academy show. So if you want to laugh, if you want to cheer yourself up, watch the Academy show later on. That's what you need, because it's all looking good in the Academy at the moment. And until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Channel members should be getting your pods tonight, I hope. We're down to numbers. Unfortunately, Holly's out of action for a little bit. So myself and Anton will try and do our podcast tonight. If not, it'll be this week. Well done for 14 months. Tasman has been a West Ham subscriber. So thank you very, very much. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay humble. Keep the faith. And come on your irons. Much love. Bye-bye.